Help me reach 9,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. The first wrong note came the morning after the wedding. We'd shut the house down at 2 a.m., a trail of empty glasses and flower petals leading to the back porch. The yard was still glittering from string lights I'd put up with my buddy Cal. My sister Maya fell asleep on the couch with a plate of cupcakes like a shield. Our neighbor Roy waved from his driveway when the last Uber pulled away. It was loud, messy. Good. Now it was daylight, coffee gurgling, and my wife, Lauren, walked in wearing my college sweatshirt like she owned the deed to the cloth. New rules, she said, opening notes on her phone. Effective today. I looked up from the pan. Breakfast first, manifesto after. I'm serious, Ryan. Number 1. From now on, my schedule takes priority for weekends. You move your plans around mine. If there's a conflict, we go with what I want. Number 2. You handle all bills. I'm stepping back to focus on options. Number 3. You clear big decisions with me in advance. If you don't like it, we can end this before it starts. I held the spatula in midair like it was a remote, and I could pause a person. Then I played along, because I thought it was a bit. Then it'll be the fastest split on record. Maybe we make the book of records. We'll need a better photo than the cake one, though. She froze a half second, smiled small. Relax. Kidding. Obviously, she wasn't. I just didn't know that yet. If I'd known where it was headed, I'd have set an earlier alarm. The night before had been the best kind of chaos. My mother cried when Maya adjusted my tie. Cal lifted me by the shoulders like a linebacker in the backyard when I said my vow. Lauren had the kind of laugh that made strangers turn and check if they could join. Her bridesmaid Tessa made fun of my old truck and then winked at me like we had a secret. Lauren's stepdad, Frank, hovered over the bar. Roy drifted between tables, a quiet constellation of small talk. At the end, we danced barefoot under the lights. She tugged me closer and said, "Don't drift on me." I told her I wasn't going anywhere. I meant it. Morning showed me she was already moving. We ate. I cleaned the pan. She watched me like a supervisor trying to figure out where the waste was. When I went to take the trash out, she followed. "So you do get I was just pushing your buttons," she said, leaning on the doorframe. I tipped the bin lid back. "I get you like rules. I like breakfast. I'll adjust." "Good," she answered, and kissed my cheek like she stamped it. I wrote it off. Big day, big mood swings. Nobody's normal after a wedding. The house smelled like peonies and beer. We had a honeymoon booked in Maine. I wasn't going to judge her by one strange monologue. I shut the door on the new rules and called it nerves. Scene 1 opened at the diner down by the river that Sunday, 2 days after the party. Cal and his wife Dana slid in next to us. The waitress knew me from years of eggs and black coffee after job sites. "So married life," Cal grinned, tapping his ring. "Do we use different forks or what?" Lauren stirred her tea like she was trying to get a code to appear. "It's been a little disorganized," she said, flicking her eyes at me. "Mess that good," Dana joked, bumping my shoulder. Lauren didn't laugh. "No, I need structure. Less spontaneity." She set the spoon down. "We'll be better with schedules." "Schedules," I echoed. "Hot." Cal smirked. "Don't kink shame a spreadsheet." I looked at Lauren. "You want a shared calendar? We can do that." She shrugged. "We'll see if you can keep up." "Pretty big assumption," I replied. "Yesterday, I built a deck. I can handle typing dentist." "Let's not start," she said flat. I let that pass. The waitress refilled mugs. Roy walked by outside and lifted a hand through the window. I waved back. "Baby shower next weekend," Dana said. "You guys coming?" "Noon, at my sister's." Lauren lifted her chin. "We can't. I scheduled a brunch with Tessa. Girls only. Ryan will drop me off and pick me up after he does the grocery run." I looked at her. "That's news." "I told you yesterday. You told me rules. That's not a calendar event." She pushed hair behind her ear. "It is now." Cal studied the sugar caddy like it contained the answer key to marriage. I set my cup down. "Here's what we'll do," I said. "I'm going to my nephew's soccer game in the morning with Maya. Then I'll hit the shower at Dana's sister's place because I promised them a grill repair. If your brunch overlaps, grab a ride with Tessa or take an Uber. I'm not a shuttle." Dana glanced from me to Lauren. "We've got plenty of cars. No one needs to ferry anyone." Lauren's tone sharpened. "So you're choosing their plans over mine." "I'm choosing commitments I already made." I don't cancel on kids so someone else's hollandaise lands warm. She exhaled through her nose. You're making this adversarial. I'm telling you my schedule like an adult. Cal cleared his throat. I'm going to get more bacon before this turns into a TED Talk. He slid out. Lauren leaned closer. You know I hate when you undermine me in public. Then set things with me in private before you tell people where I'll be. We ate in a quiet that wasn't peaceful. She kept checking her phone. The waitress asked if we wanted pie and I said no. Thank you, because sugar makes a bad table feel worse. When we got home, she went to our bedroom and closed the door. 10 minutes later, she came out softer, almost apologetic, with a bag of chips. I was abrupt, she said, setting them down. I'm not used to partnership. I've been managing on my own a while. It's easier to just decide and announce. So decide, talk, and we'll plan, I told her. Basic human. She stepped closer. I hear you. She touched my chest. Do you want to go to the farmer's market? My treat. That was illusion number one, the easy, light version. I took it. We walked past stalls. She tried berries. I bought eggs. She teased me for counting cash like a contractor who distrusted apps. She slipped her arm through mine, and I thought, good. We reset. 2 days later, she upped the pressure. She texted during my project walkthrough. Rent due? Can you cover my part this month? I had no idea why she was still paying rent. She'd moved into my house. When I asked, she wrote back, it's a fee. Long story. Just send. When I got home, I asked for the long story. She was on the couch, laptop open to a shopping cart full of patio furniture. I closed my lease early, she said. There's a break fee. You can cover it, right? Why wouldn't you cover it? Because it's our home now, and my income's going to fluctuate. I'm thinking of taking a break from the office while I figure out next steps. Next steps like what? Content. Consulting. Something flexible. It's ridiculous to punch a clock when we're building a life. You told me last month you liked your job. I liked the benefits of independence. Now I have different benefits. She tapped the laptop. And we should upgrade the patio. We'll host a lot. We will. Great. What's the budget? She looked at me like I'd missed the point again. Just get what looks good. No, I answered. Here's what we're going to do. Finances get separated. You want to quit your job? That's your choice. But I'm not funding experiments. I'll cover the mortgage and my stuff. You cover your personal expenses. We agree on joint costs before any purchase. And there's no fee. I pay because you broke a lease. Her face tightened. So you're controlling me through money now. I'm controlling me through money. You're free to do whatever you want with yours. You said we were a team. We are. Teams also run budgets. That's cold. Cold is sending me invoices I never agreed to. She snapped the laptop shut. You're making me feel unsafe. Because I won't buy a couch? Because you're saying no. Correct, I replied. Sometimes I say no. She stood. If I can't count on you, why did we get married? For partnership, not patronage. She walked to the hallway. Forget it. I'll handle it. Good, I said. She left the house for hours. I went to the garage, changed a blade on the miter saw, called Maya, and told her we'd meet earlier for my nephew's practice on Saturday. I texted Cal that I was coming to the baby shower, but wouldn't stay for long. I scheduled a consult with my accountant to set up a second checking account. Then I made dinner for myself and put her portion in the fridge. At 9, she came home with flowers and a guilty smile. Illusion number 2 started like the first, a soft turn after a hard edge. I overreacted, she offered, setting the flowers in the sink. Change freaks me out. You don't deserve that. Thank you, I said. I'll keep working for now, she added. Maybe scale down gradually. Whatever you choose, decide with your numbers, not my patience. She stepped into my space and reached up like she was going to fix my collar. That's a line. That's a line. She nodded. Understood. Then, I told Tessa she can come to dinner Friday. She wants to see the house. You already invited her. Of course. But I'm telling you now. Next time ask first. Noted, she said, and smiled like we were dancing a well-rehearsed routine. Friday arrived with Tessa's laugh coming through the door before her. She hugged me with both arms like we were cousins at a reunion I didn't remember attending. This place, she said, stepping into the kitchen. Lauren did well. Ryan did well. I corrected, friendly. I've been here 6 years. Tessa glanced at Lauren. You said it needed a woman's touch. It did, Lauren said, opening a drawer for the good napkins. Some corners still do. We sat. Tessa looked at the refrigerator like it offended her. Stainless is over, she announced. Black mat is in. Put that on your list, Ree. I set a plate down. We're eating first. Don't be brittle. Tessa laughed. Lauren poured wine for herself and Tessa. He's practical. It's one of those charming and annoying traits. Mostly annoying, Tessa said, grinning. My ex was like that. Always counting. I didn't bite. We ate. They gossiped about someone's promotion. Halfway through, Lauren pushed her plate away and tapped it with her fork. On Sunday, she said, we're doing a brunch at Marlowe's, and then we're swinging by a showroom. If you can't make it, she looked at me, we'll figure it out without you. I'm not going to a showroom, I replied. I told Dana I'd help her sister with the grill. After that, I'm at the baby shower a half hour. Then I'm taking my nephew to the batting cages. That's my Sunday. Tessa lifted an eyebrow. So independent. Independent men fix grills. Dependent men shop for throw pillows. Throw pillows make a home, Lauren countered, light but sharp. Respect makes a home, I said. Tessa shot Lauren a quick look. You didn't warn me he'd be this traditional. He's fine, Lauren said, but her tone said I wasn't. I stood, collected plates, and started the sink. You two do your thing Sunday. The world won't stop spinning if I'm not there to touch fabrics. Lauren's voice went cool. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Harder is when you spring plans and treat me like a driver. Tessa lowered her wine glass like she'd heard enough. Let me guess, you want her to ask permission. I want her to coordinate like an adult, I said without turning. Wow, Tessa replied. We're full of lines tonight. Yeah, I answered. We are. After dinner, I stepped onto the porch. It was quiet on our street. Roy was finishing a cigarette, hands in his jacket. Congrats, newlywed, he said. Thanks. Stormy. Breezy, I said. He smiled, and we let the night sit. Next scene was the brunch Lauren insisted on, at a place where the eggs cost more than good shoes. Tessa came, of course. So did a couple from her yoga class. I arrived late on purpose, paid my portion directly to the server before sitting, and told Lauren in front of them we had 1 hour because I was stopping by Dana's sisters afterward. That was my public boundary, clean, brief, no drama. Lauren tried humor. He's Mr. Clock. Tessa leaned in. Military energy. A yoga friend asked what I did. I told him, renovation, small crews, decent life. He nodded like he didn't know what a drill sounded like. 10 minutes later, Lauren steered the conversation to money. Couples always fight about it, she said, looking at me. Except when one person carries more and understands what the relationship needs. Or when both people respect that adults handle their side. I countered. Tessa smiled. So who handles the vacation fund? She squeezed Lauren's wrist. We need that Hawaii trip. Hawaii? I asked. Just a thought, Lauren said. Things are fluid. I let it hang. The check came. When the server asked if it was together, I answered, separate. Thank you. Lauren's face chilled a notch. Tessa watched me like I'd set off a small fire in a museum. You're really doing that out loud, Tessa said. Transparency, I said. Lauren put her card down with a little too much pressure. We'll talk at home. No, I answered. We'll talk now. You've been naming what I should do for days. Here's the reality. I'm not funding plans I didn't approve. I'm not rearranging my calendar because you announced something in a group chat. And I'm not being your driver. You want something, ask. If the answer is no, respect it. A yoga guy glanced at his water like it might explain me. Tessa leaned back. He's intense when he draws lines. Lauren forced a smile at the table like she was above it. He's very precise. We'll adapt. We left. Outside, she dropped the smile. You humiliated me, she said on the sidewalk. I set a boundary. You don't like boundaries because they have edges. You made me look like I'm dependent. You brought up money to flex control. I was making conversation. You were testing if you could set terms in public. You can't. She steadied her bag on her shoulder. You're rigid. It's going to be a problem. Then it will be a problem, I replied. And I'll handle the problem. Back home, I started acting on that promise. Preemptive moves. I created a separate account for my payroll. I reduced the automatic transfer to joint to cover real joint costs we agreed upon. I scheduled a week-long training for my foreman the same week Lauren had been hinting at a trip, removed myself as the default planner. I told Maya I'd be spending more Sundays with my nephew for a while, no negotiation. In the kitchen, I put a small whiteboard with the week's commitments that I had made before any new ideas. It wasn't theater. It was a fact sheet. Lauren saw the changes and tried tactic 2 on Monday. She showed up with bagels at my job site at 9 a.m. Dana was there dropping off paperwork for her sister's grill, so we had witnesses. The site smelled like sawdust and coffee. Hector, my crew lead, was going over measurements. "Hi, team," Lauren sang, handing out bagels. "Ryan, quick minute." I stepped to the side. "What's up?" She lowered her voice. "I freaked the other night. I don't want us to fight. Let's reset. I'll stop pushing. We'll do your schedule for a while." "That's reasonable," I answered. Her eyes softened. "I appreciate you." "Good." Hector came over. "We're short 2 sheets of ply." "I'll run." "I'll go," I told him. "I need to clear my head anyway." Dana, who has a radar for nonsense, waited for Hector to move. "Everything good?" she asked Lauren, eyebrows gentle. "Totally," Lauren said brightly. "We're just recalibrating." "He's very organized." Dana looked at me. "Drink water." I went for sheets. When I came back, Lauren had finished her charm offensive and was chatting with Hector about finishes like she was our client. "Babe," she said, "I'm thinking we push the porch reno up. It'll be good for entertaining." Hector glanced at me. "We booked 3 months out." Lauren smiled. "Ryan can squeeze it in." "No," I said. "We honor the calendar." She blinked at me like I'd breached some unspoken backstage agreement. "We just said we're resetting. Resetting doesn't mean I rearrange for your whims." "Whims. Projects." She stopped smiling. "Let's go home." "I'm at work," I said. "We'll talk tonight." Hector and Dana didn't move, and that was my scene on foreign turf, my place, my people, my rules. She left without bagels. That night the midterm landed. She made dinner. Not takeout. Not thrown together. She cooked. When I sat, she reached across, palm up. "I was wrong," she said. "I'm used to controlling my world because it's safer. You don't need a second manager. I'll step back. I want this to work." I let the silence stretch. She watched my face like it was a market chart. "I appreciate the dinner," I said. "And the admission." She exhaled. "Thank you." We ate. She asked about Hector's kid. I told her. She said she talked to her supervisor and would keep her hours for now. I didn't fully relax, but I let my shoulders drop a notch. You can't live with a person if you treat every apology like a con. It makes a home into an interrogation room. Then came the kill turn. 2 days later, I found her plan. Not a message thread I wasn't supposed to read. Not gossip, not a rumor. A spreadsheet. She left it open on the dining table. Probably forgot to close it when she went to take a call. The header said, "Stability timeline." Rows: Month 1, Month 2, Month 3. Columns: Reduce hours, quit job, personal stipend, targets, deliverables. In deliverables, she'd listed house tasks, presence, community image. Next to personal stipend, a number. Next to targets, Hawaii, Q4. There was a second tab titled Conversation Tactics. I didn't scroll like a snoop. I read enough to understand. This wasn't 2 people planning a budget. It was a project plan where my role was a pipeline. She came out of the bedroom still on her call, air kissing a client goodbye, and froze when she saw me reading. "That's private," she said. "It's labeled Tactics." "You sure it's private?" Her jaw tightened. "You're in my space." "No, you moved in with a blueprint. Don't make this bigger than it is." "It's as big as it is. You laid out milestones for extracting support and cutting your own commitment, and you wrapped it in nice words. I laid out goals for our life. You laid out what you take and what I provide." She crossed her arms. "You are twisting." "No," I told her. "I'm reading." I picked up the tablet, closed it, and set it gently in front of her. "I'm done." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't slam. I just was. She stared at me like I'd mispronounced a common word. Over one spreadsheet. Over a strategy that treats me like a subscription. That's not fair. It's accurate. She tried to pivot. We agreed I'd slow down at work. You pushed for budgets. I planned around that. You want me unprepared. I want you honest. She softened her tone like she could reverse a car by smiling at it. We can tweak it. It's not set in stone. I want us. You want anchor points, I said. And a stipend. She moved deliberately toward me. If you leave, you'll regret it. No, I said. I'll regret not leaving sooner. She reached for my sleeve. I stepped back. I'm not going to yell, I told her. I'm going to act. She tried another angle. Think about our wedding. Your mother. Maya. The vows. Don't blow it for ego. My mother raised me not to fund manipulation. She flinched at that word, not because it was harsh, but because it was precise. What now? She asked. Now, I said. I separate accounts fully, in joint cards, cancel any planned trips, move up my on-site commitments, and sleep elsewhere for a while. I'll send you a list of the bills I'll pay. You handle your own items. There will be a document about the rest. She swallowed. You're making me start at zero. No, I said. You're making me stop pretending this is love. That night I packed. Not a bag thrown together in a rage. I pulled the big duffel from the closet, folded shirts, took 2 pairs of jeans, work boots, the watch my dad left me, the folder with house papers. I texted Maya, I'm staying with you a week. She wrote back the address and a thumbs up. Cal texted, you good? I wrote, I will be. He replied, be here when you're ready. I left my key on the hook and kept another. I shut the door without a sound. She called 3 times that night. I ignored the first, answered the second. Are you serious? She said instead of hello. Very. You're overreacting. I'm correcting. You can't just disappear. I'm at my sister's. Not disappeared. I'll be by tomorrow for the rest of my stuff. We'll talk logistics then. Don't punish me. I'm not a judge, I said. I'm a person leaving a situation that fails basic respect. You're blowing up our life. I'm saving what's left of my time. Maya handed me a blanket and said, I don't need details. I can see your face. The next scene was at work, because real life keeps moving while hearts break. Hector needed decisions. We were framing a porch for a couple in their 70s who bickered in a way that was more rhythm than fight. Roy walked by the site and pretended he had business there just to be near noise that wasn't his television. Lauren showed up at noon. She wore the same sweatshirt from the morning after the wedding. That felt like a joke with no laugh track. Can we talk? She said, not asked. Hector wandered a convenient 6 feet away. Roy examined a flower bed like he was measuring it with his eyes. 2 minutes, I said. She lowered her voice. You made a mistake. I panicked and wrote a plan. That's all it was. It had a stipend. It was a placeholder. It had tactics. Communication strategy, she corrected, which is a different word for tactics. She exhaled. I'm offering a reset. I'll keep working. I'll stop pushing for trips and furniture. No more spreadsheets. We do it your way for a while. Just come home. That's not what I want. What do you want? A partner, not a client. I want respect to roll in both directions without me invoicing it or you scheduling it. It can, she said quickly. It can. You had your chance with simple honesty. You chose leverage. I chose self-protection. From what? I asked. A person who kept his vows and his word? She blinked. I don't know what to say to that. You don't have to say anything, I told her. You have to live with it. Dana pulled up in her car to drop off hardware. She saw us talking and didn't pretend not to see. She got out slow and leaned on the hood with her arms crossed. Witnesses matter. They keep the story anchored to the earth. Lauren glanced at Dana, then at Hector, then at Roy's flowerbed. Please don't make a scene, she said. I'm not. I'm being very clear. So that's it, she said. One document, and you torch our marriage. You torched it when you made our marriage a document. You're cruel. No, I replied. I'm consistent. She tried a last path. If you leave me like this, I'll have to make changes I'm not ready for. You will, I said. And so will I. She wiped her eyes fast, which was the first real thing I'd seen from her in days. It didn't move me back. It just hurt in a dull, honest way. Then she turned and left. In the evenings I moved out. Tools, clothes, toiletries. Maya helped, and Cal showed up with a couple of boxes and the kind of jokes that made the weight less. He looked at the whiteboard in the kitchen and shook his head. Wasn't for her, I said. Was for me. Good, he answered. Lauren stayed away while I took my things, which was smart. When she finally texted, it was a last attempt to regain ground. I talked to HR. I'm keeping my hours. I stopped the furniture order. Let's try this again. Dinner tonight? I answered, no, I'm not coming back. We'll handle what we need to handle. She replied, you're making a mistake you'll regret. I put the phone down and went back to labeling a box of drill bits like it mattered. It did. It kept my hands honest while my head caught up. A week later, we met at the house with a list. Her friend Tessa was there, arms folded, playing bodyguard. Maya sat at the table, pen ready. Lauren opened with the last of her leverage. If you don't support me through this, you're leaving me in a bad place. I'm leaving you where you placed yourself, I said. On purpose. Tessa jumped in. You owe her a runway. I owe her respect. She owes me the same. We're even. Lauren looked at Maya. Do you hear him? Maya didn't look up. I hear a grown man reading a list. We divided. House stays with me. She takes her belongings. I'll cover joint expenses until the 1st of next month. Then it's clean. She'll move into a place closer to her office. We'll handle the rest like two people whose emails are short and polite. Lauren didn't argue at volume. There was no point. She knew the current had shifted and she couldn't swim it. She tried one last soft push at the door. Do you remember the lights? She asked. From our wedding. You said you weren't going anywhere. I said it when I thought we were building a home. I replied. Not a system. She didn't follow me out. Good. That would have been a mess, and I was done cleaning messes I didn't make. The final act was quiet. I drove to the title office, signed what I needed to sign to protect assets, and walked out into heat that belonged to no one. I texted Hector that I'd be early on the next job. I called my mother and told her I was fine, and when she cried, I told her the truth. I'm better than fine. I'm free. Lauren sent a long message that read like a pitch deck for our future if I came back. I didn't respond. A week later, she sent a short one. Are you really done? I answered, yes. 2 days after that, I went by the house for the last box. She stood by the window, arms around herself. I didn't come in. I didn't look at the dining table where the spreadsheet had been. I didn't look at the patio, or the sofa, or the hooks where I'd left a key. She opened the door. Say something, she asked. Here it is, I said, clear. You bought a ring and tried to make it a leash. I don't wear leashes. Take care of yourself. I turned and walked to my truck. She didn't call after me. That was merciful. I drove away and didn't check the mirror. Time later, life expanded instead of collapsed. I bought a small house on the edge of town with a detached garage that made me happier than any trip. I replaced the old truck with a newer one because I could. Work grew. Hector took more lead and freed me up to bid smarter. I spent Saturdays with my nephew hitting balls until his hands hurt in the way that builds calluses and character. Maya brought over plants I didn't kill. Cal came by with Dana and their new baby, and the grill worked so well it felt like an apology for nothing. A woman named Natalie moved into the place next door in mid-autumn. She was normal in the way that's rare, funny without an audience, steady without speeches. We drank coffee on our stoops and traded tools without tracking favors. We went to a street fair and didn't post about it. She asked what happened to my marriage, and I told her the condensed version. I traded my time for respect. It wasn't a bad deal. She nodded like that was a language she spoke. As for Lauren, I learned through Roy, because neighborhoods talk, that she kept her job, cut her plans, and moved into a tidy apartment with no porch. She posted less. Tessa visited less. That's not a victory. It's a result. The lights from the wedding were still in my garage, boxed, not thrown away. Not because I'm sentimental. Because one day I might string them up again for a different reason. For a dinner, a birthday, a night that doesn't require rules to feel safe. If I'd known where it was headed, I might have saved myself some bruises. But the person I am now wouldn't trade the lesson. The line I drew gave me my life back. That's the story. No fireworks. No begging. Just a man who learned to leave when respect leaves first.